Shalom. This is to all Israelite groups and all Israelite communities and all breakoffs from One West and breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs from breakoffs. No matter what rainbow uniform you wear, red, white, purple, and white, all white, it don't matter. You should all treat the Isupk like your weird, misunderstood Sabbaths. You shouldn't do anything until you counsel with the Isupk. We'll tell you when and what to eat. We'll tell you who to marry. We'll tell you who to have sex with and how. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your wives. We'll tell you how to resolve conflicts with your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your parents, your friends, everybody. We'll tell you when and how to pray. We'll tell you how to direct your life in a way that's pleasing to the Most High God of Israel and our Black King Yahushua, a.k.a. Jesus Christ. We will be to you instead of a God. Just like the Most High told Moses in Exodus 4:16 that Aaron would be to him instead of a mouth and he would be to Aaron instead of a God, that's what we'll do for you. It is what you all need because none of you know what the fuck you are doing. I pray you understand. Shalom.
All right, bear with me, y'all. 1 second. I was gonna be here. I'm trying to find here. All right, shalom, y'all. Bashim y'all Shabrakatah. I'm priest and officer of 50 Wam Yalla Bon Yahweh Bon Yasharala. Today is the Friday night Lashawan Qadash class. And just like we start every class, we're going to go over the Paleo Hebrew, right? From right to left instead of from left to right, as you would in the standard English. You understand? So I'm gonna write these consonants or characters on the board. You understand? And then we're going to pronounce them. All right. All right. So remember, it's from right to left, not left to right. You understand? English is from left to right. Hebrew is from right to left. You understand? All right, so we're gonna go over the pronunciation, right, of each character. This is a, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, cha. Okay, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, za, ra, qua, slaki, qua, ra, sha, and tha. You understand? Make sure I can see it on the board here, Salaki. All right. So it's just that simple. We're writing the paleo, right? It's just that simple. I'm getting it on the board. You know what I'm saying? This should always be studied. This should always be in your notes. You should always be able to identify these characters. You understand? Now, today we're going to get into the origin, right? We're going to get into the origin of Hebrew itself. We're going to go over some key pointers of how the language was created, you understand, and why we have resurrected this language to learn, you understand? All right, so we all know that the Most High, right, gave Adam's lineage a pure language, which is the Paleo Hebrew, you understand? Just the Paleo Hebrew. This was not taught today with vowel points. It was the Paleo Hebrew script and sound. We call it the Lashawan Qadash, right? This is what this is. It's written up here. The Lashawan Qadash. Of course, we got it in English, right? To identify it and to be able to read it. But in the Hebrew, it's written from right to left. And the English is written from left to right. Lashawan Qadash. Lashawan meaning tongue. So this word means tongue or language. Right? That's the Lashawan. Lashawan means tongue or language. And the Qadash, right, means holy or set apart. Okay. All right. Each letter is one consonant. All right. That's how we identify the characters as consonants, right? Or consonants, right? They have no vowels besides the A, right? That's after each consonant except for the I and ah, right? So except for these two characters, so like ah and I, there are no vowels in the language. You understand? So it started with after the fall and corruption, right? After the Tower of Babel, Salakia, which can be found in Genesis chapter 11. All right. Israel kept the holy tongue, but over time, due to captivity, the script and pronunciation were influenced by other nations. Now we all know that we were captive in Syria. We was captive in Greece, Salakia. We was captive in Corinth. You understand? All these places influence the way we look at Hebrew in today's time. So modern Hebrew, which would be called the Yiddish, right? The Yiddish language. You understand? That is not the Aboriginal. That's not the origin of Hebrew. Paleo Hebrew is the origin, right? So in Babylon, Aramaic script replaced Paleo Hebrew in most writings, which is why anytime you're using the internet, you're always going to find Assyrian Hebrew or Aramaic Hebrew. But it's very, very rare that you find correct Paleo Hebrew. You understand? This language had to be resurrected and studied, you understand, to just so you can speak it today. You know what I'm saying? So if you speaking or you answering the phone and you saying Shalom, Lord in Christ, you understand? Or Shalom Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shabarakatah, Shalom Yahweh Shamar, Alatham Bashim Yahweh Shah. If you're using these types of greetings, right? The correct Paleo Hebrew, you are considered lucky, you understand, compared to everybody else who may use Shalom or Shalom, you understand, which is incorrect, you understand. Big up to Priest and Officer Hazahab, you know what I'm saying, for spending as much time as he does, you know what I'm saying, foolproofing the paleo, looking up these words and studying these words, you know what I'm saying, and so he can present them to Israel, to the nation, you understand? All right. So during the Mosaic period, right, which is the 6th and 10th century AD, Jewish scribes added vowel points and changed sounds. This is where modern Hebrew / Yiddish influence started. All right. So Yiddish in modern Hebrew, the so-called Hebrew taught in Israel today, is a revival mixed with European Yiddish sounds, European Yiddish sounds, Germanic grammar patterns, added vowels, right? For example, modern Hebrew would say shalom, shalom, right? But the Lashawan Qadash, because this is a vowel, right? So this was added, that long sound. There's no om in the Paleo Hebrew, right? Which is why we pronounce it correctly as shalom, right? And you can always go back to the consonants to bag up how you pronounce the Hebrew, right? You got your shah right there, right? You got la right there, right? Of course, this is supposed to be ma, right? But you see no a, and that is an indication that the la and the ma is connected, which makes you get shalom. Shalom. Okay. Now shalawam, you know what I'm saying? Even though it's still using the correct consonants, right? Is not in this correct order to get what the word means in the Hebrew, right? This means greetings or peace. It's also a farewell or a goodbye. Okay. So resurrecting, right? Resurrecting the Hebrew. You understand? Of course, this class is titled Understanding the Lashawan Qadash, Resurrecting the Hebrew, the Water, the Command and General Yohana, and the Isupk teachers for preserving this original language. You understand? Paleo sounds, the system stripped away, vowel points, foreign letters, slash sounds like E, V in the modern instead of Slocky, instead of I, right? Which that's the this is the paleo and Slocky. This is the English. Okay. So instead of I, right? Paleo here, English there, right? The Yiddish will pronounce this as, like I just said, okay, yin, which is wrong. This is wrong. It's pronounced I, okay? As in I. Okay, so why does this matter? Language is a part of our heritage and identity. According to the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 9. Salaki, this is a curriculum that I put together, so that's why I'm reading it off of my notes. So according to the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, verse 1, let me get that scripture for you. Bear with me. So like verse 3, chapter 3, verse 9, and it reads, "For then will I turn to the people a pure language, Lashawan Qadash, all right, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent." You understand? So speaking Lashawan Qadash isn't just pronunciation, it's reclaiming the tongue our forefathers spoke when addressing Yahweh, which is the Most High. You understand? It connects prayers. So that's why our prayers mean so much. That's why we face the east when we pray and we use the Lashawan Qadash, right? And then we follow up with the English so everybody knows what we're saying in the Lashawan Qadash. If we were more fluent, we wouldn't need the English at all. You understand? And that's the point that we're trying to get to as far as being more fluent. You understand? That's why these Friday night Lashawan Qadash classes is so very important. You understand? All right. What was okay, Khan. It connects prayer, reading scriptures, and brotherhood back to the original spirit of Israel. Okay. Let me get this off. Let me break down, right? Each character and its original meaning. All right. All right. So boom, we have I. All right. Which is an ox. All right. And it means meaning all right. I'm gonna try to draw the pictograph for you as well when I write it. All right. So the head of an ox, which symbolizes authority. So the letter is I, the name is I, of course. And the meaning is strength slash leader or authority. Okay. And of course, it still makes that I sound. All right. And an example with the letter or the consonant inside of it is Qad, all right? Which means one. Okay. Next we have Ba. Okay. Got Ba. A Ba represents a what? A tent. That's its pictograph. All right. And you can really just use a house, right? For its pictograph, however you want to do it, so you can remember it. Okay. And again, it means tent. It's like we're gonna use the word house, all right? Because house is also a symbol for authority. I mean, a strength, all right, and family. Okay. Of course, it makes the ba sound. Okay. And the example would be bond, right? Which means son, also family. Okay. Next, we have Ga. Ga is a representation of a camel, right? My camel gonna be ugly, but it's gonna be a camel nonetheless. Lucky. Yeah, that's real like a dinosaur. No sweat. All right. Put camel somewhere up here. All right. Meaning to lift up or carry. All right. Of course, the pronunciation is just Ga. An example would be Gamal, which means what this pictograph represents, a camel. So we got I by Ga. Next we have Da. All right. And Da is a representation of a door. All right. So if you had tent, right? That would be the door of that tent. Which meaning is door or pat, right? Of course, da is its pronunciation. Okay. An example would be the bar. And your example is really just coming from which with using da in the word, okay? And the bar just means word. Next we have ha. Ha is a hand, all right? Okay. Oh, Salaki. It's not just a hand, it's saying behold, right? Okay. Which means its meaning is look or reveal. Of course, the pronunciation is just ha. And an example would be ram, which means separate. All right, next we got wa. Wa, Salaki. It's a pig, all right? Not the gorilla Hebrew kind, but like a leg, right? Like you had the bottom of your leg cut off. You know what I'm saying? You use a peg, or another one would be like what you use a crutch, right? You use that crutch for support. You understand? Which is why the meaning is secure, not insecure, but secure, right? And add, right? Because if you got a peg leg, you're adding, you know what I'm saying, that support to yourself so you can be able to get around and walk. All right. Of course, why is its pronunciation or sound, right? I'm just using an example with the word in it. Why tazah, which means so Salaki. I didn't write down what this word means. I thought I could find it, but Salaki. No, skip that one. Okay. All right. Next we have za. Okay. Za. Za means a weapon. Okay. And it's normally this those little like a how you clear a the weapon you would use to clear a path. It got that little blade on the top of the staff. Salaki. It's what that the pictograph of za means, right? And of course, it means to cut or divide. Okay. Why? I mean, it's like za is the sound that it makes. Okay, or pronunciation, and Zion, which means what is an example. All right, I'm gonna get these off, and we're gonna pick up from za. Wish I had room to put them all up here. All right, next character we have is what? Ha. Okay. All right. Be a wall. All right. God. Mitzvah is anyway, it means sign. I thought I had yeah, is arm. Okay. Ka is palm. Thought I had a picture of pictograph. I had wrote out all these pictographs. Salakia, live staff. Okay, live water. And now it's seed. All right. Good for a sign. I would use maybe stick man, right? With his arm out. That's where you get the arm from. Salakia. Of course, the palm of a hand. All right. That's where you get ka, all right, which is why it's shaped that way. It's just, you know what I'm saying, the palm of a hand. Staff, all right, for la, water for ma, and a seed, right? Sprouting seed for na, all right? Of course, ka is a tent wall, which means to protect or separate. Okay. Of course, a sign is used for a mark and sign, right? The arm means to work or doing deeds. Palm is to allow or open. The staff is used to teach, right, or guide. Water is a representation of chaos because it's unstable, right? And nations, which is also unstable. Okay. Seed is grow, right? Or continue. Okay. Of course, each character makes that sound, you understand, of this pronunciation. Of this spelling, right? Ka makes the ha sound with the two A's being emphasized, all right? Ta, ta makes that sound, all right? Ya, okay? Ka, la, ma, and na. All right, an example of ha, like it would be like kataya, which means sent, all right? Uh, example word would be uh, dawa, which means sign. Okay. Yahweh, which is the Most High. An example for this one. All right. Ka, an example for Ka would be Karab, which means to draw near. An example for Lawa, which means, for La is Lawa, which means to join. An example for Ma is Mayam, of course, which means waters. And Na would be would mean gave. So I'm gonna Christ. So like I'm teaching this class real fast. Let me give you a call back, okay? All right. All right, we keep this off. Just make it over again. Next letter would be Sa. So be writing it. Sa, got I, got Pa, Za, got Qua, Ra, Sha, and Ba. Okay. All right. Sa, which means thorn. Okay. I is an eye. I is mouth. Za, sprout. Sun. Okay. Right head. Trying. Eye. Mouth. Got two little sprouts. You got the sunrise. Okay. On horizon, have a man's head. All right. Two. Okay. And across. Or the mark. All right. Now to the meaning. All right. Phone would be to grab. It's like the side would be to grab or protect. Okay. I would be to see / know. Okay. Use your mouth to speak. All right. Or scatter. All right. Sprout is simply a representation of life or pictograph of life. Okay. Sun would be time or circle. Head would be first or highest. Tooth would be consume / destroy. And the mark will be for a sign or a covenant. All right. All right. Each character makes the sound that is used for that character. Yep. All right. An example for each, right? We add Sabah, which means an army. Right. This one's Salaki. Open. Ham, which means mercy. Shalom, okay. And Yum, which means perfect. All right. So each example, Sabah, which means army, Patak, which means open. The example for Tazah is Tazawa, which means command. For Kwa, means Qadash or holy. For Ra, right, is Racham, it's mercy. For Shah, of course, Shalom, which means peace. And Ta is Yum, which means perfect. Okay. I want you to record everything that you, as far as these pictographs, and I want you to study them. Of course, you can always find different examples. Um, you can either, look them up or, use previous classes or words and definitions to switch out the example. The sound would never change on any consonant. You understand? Like even when sometimes when you're writing a word, right? I'm gonna give you an example, right? For tazah. Tazah is tazah, of course. But when you put that H there, right? Even though it's tazaha, it's still pronounced tazah. Okay? Tazah. For tazah and tazah, it's two different words. You understand? So the consonants never change as far as the pronunciation. You know what I'm saying? Even when you're merging a word, you know what I'm saying? So you want to practice with that. I'm gonna go into the basics of grammar for a second. Put a couple of examples on the board that we can use, right? So when you're using the paleo, right, as far as reading a sentence or how a sentence is formed, right, it goes from verb, subject to object. What am I saying, right? All right, for an example. Let me give an example. One second, let me find a good example. All right, so for the English, right? If I say in English, the Lord is my the Lord is my shepherd, all right? That's how it's set up in the English, right? Most of the time, it's the subject, which is shepherd. The Lord, which is the object. Subject. Is my. Let me see. My would be the verb, I believe, and then the object. The object would be shepherd, right? But when you're setting it up in the paleo, it's different. It would be Ra'ah, Yahweh, and Yah, right? Which means shepherd, the most high, and me. So this would be the subject, this would be the verb, Salaki, and this would be the object. All right. I'm finna try to use a simpler. Here's a simpler one, right? If I say in English, serve the Lord. All right. Serve means abide. So in the Hebrew, abad, atah, Yahweh, right? You see how this is set up? Instead of just saying serve the Lord, it's saying serve you the most high. or serve you, the Lord. It's verb. This is the verb, abide. Subject is you, right? Atah. And the object is the Most High. You understand? So in the English, it's very, very different. You're just simply saying, serve the Lord. But in the Hebrew, right, in the Paleo, it's saying, serve you, the Most High. And that's how it will be read. And that's how it can be confusing when you're looking up the scriptures and you're like, what, this word should be in front of this word. But the English is much different than the Hebrew. Like I said, instead of saying serve the Lord, you're saying serve you, the Most High. Hope that was a better example. We try to find another one. All right. All right, English. It's a good one, right? So what is it saying in English? And you shall love the Lord your God, right? Well, how would you break this down in the Paleo? How All right, so what you're saying in the Paleo is Ahab, Atah, Yahweh, Alahayaka. Okay, which is what you're saying is love you, the Most High, your God. Instead of saying in the English, and you shall love the Lord your God, you're saying love you, the Most High, your God. Ahab, Atah, Yahweh, Alahayaka. All right. Love you, the Most High, your God. Excuse me. Hope that makes sense. So when you're forming a sentence in the Paleo Hebrew, remember is the, gonna use it as acronyms, right? V as O. Verb, subject, object. Okay. And with that, that's my time. I'm Priest and Officer 50 Ruwam Yala, Bon Yahweh, Bon Yasharala. Until next time, Shalom, Israel.
Yeah.